thanks for being here. I'm Dave, and I happen to be the pastor here at Crosspoint Church. Thanks for being here. Thanks for attending. I want to take a moment to say thanks to Nadia and Dave, my good friends, who have we've partnered together to bring a life that is full and complete, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, as much as we possibly can. And so we're going to talk about that today, and I want to thank you for being here and being part of that conversation. So hope you had lunch. Hope you got a chance to get something to eat. We appreciate you eating all of that, because if not, we have to take it home. It's not great. Don't want to do that. So thanks for being here. I'm going to hand it over to Nadia. She's going to get things started. Nadia is a radio personality. She's been in the area here in Harrisburg for quite a while and is well known with WHP 580 Radio and RJ Harris and many of the local folks like that, but also is well known in the area as a health expert. And so it's just our privilege to invite her to speak first and to lead us off today. So thanks, Nadia.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll move this up, I see. There we go. Okay. Because you're tall and I'm not. That's just so weird. Well, I want to, can you guys hear me? Is this on? Yeah? Is this on?
It's not. Hold on.
Hold on. I can't talk about it, but still. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Some of the faces that I've not seen in a long time, so I'm very happy to see. I'm the owner of Trendline Weight Loss. I owned the business for almost 17 years. This May will be 17. And then, I had a whole thing of what I was going to talk about today, but I'm going to first apologize. So I'm from Iran, Germany. I was born there. And we fled America. We fled Iran in 1984. So I came to America in 1984. I was here when I was first, in 1976. When I was born, not joking. I was born in 1970, okay? So I was in 76. I was trying to make myself younger. But I'm not. I keep saying I'm double nickel. I say it on air all the time. It's the most ridiculous old thing somebody can say, but I say it all the time. So I was born there, and I came to America when I was 6. My dad was a student at Penn State studying, and he brought me with him, and it was wonderful. Iran was wonderful before the regime changed. It was free land when the Shah was, running it. So we came here, went to school a couple of years, and my mom and family were back there. My dad decided that it's time for us to go back home and visit and come back again. So in 1980, and if you don't know this, the regime took over in 1979, and we were poor to begin with, but we really didn't know that the regime had happened. The TV and all that wasn't quite the way it is right now. So my dad graduated, got his PhD in horticulture, and that's very big in my country. So we were going back home, and when we landed, it was pitch black darkness. And I remember, because I was 12 years old, almost 12, and the next 2 years of my life was unbelievable. To go from a free country to a regime that did not care about women at all. Actually, women are nothing. We're lower than nothing over there. And I had zero choices of doing anything. So I know you came here for a seminar of nutrition. I won't give you that, but I wanted you to know why I'm a little bit more emotional than normal from starting what happened yesterday. And my sister just texted me, and I showed the text to Coach Brett's here. She said in the last 2 weeks, 32,000 people died just in the last 2 weeks. And I lost my brother to the war before we came here, because he was of the age that we couldn't get him out. It took us almost 2 years to get out of there, and we asylum to America. We first had to go to Germany, and from Germany we came here. Later on today, I'm going to be doing on 2 news places. They're going to ask me about the experience. I hope you watch it, because if nobody's grateful for being in this country, I think they should watch it so you can be how grateful to be in this beautiful country. You know, I love America. I love this country.
Where in America are you from?
I was born in Shiraz, so it's down south. So everything's happening in Tehran, which is more north. But Shiraz is a city of poets. Yeah, and believe it or not, I always connected to the fact that I'm such an empath because of where I was born. It's absolutely the city of poets. But we will absolutely ask if you need more questions later on. So when I came to America, we were really, really dirt poor. I decided that I really wanted to get into chemistry. I know, I'm Iranian, a chemist. I'm born on 9/11. It was a really nice time. I know, wow, okay, wow. And when, of course, 9/11 happened, I used to travel a lot for work, and, you know, ironically, I'd be tagged, you know, just it would say random. I'm like, I think my last name, my full name, by the way, is Zara Nadia Sharifi, okay? I'm like, okay, and the last part is Hosseini, because my part of my family is part of the prophets, so Prophet Hussein. So yeah, I was constantly tagged, and my bag checked and everything. So when I lost 57 pounds myself, okay, so I gained a lot of weight when I first came to America. It was I worked at McDonald's, and I love French fries, so you could put 2 and 2 together, okay, but I ended up gaining a lot of weight. French fries were every day. But when I graduated college, I have a degree in food chemistry and anatomy and psychology, or weight loss and weight management, I really wanted to help people, women especially. Because the 2 years that I was in Iran, it was truly horrible for women, really bad. And I really connect to women, obviously I'm a woman, but just to really help them, you know, especially when you're overweight and you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, or you're just not healthy. I mean, you're not have to be overweight. You're not mentally healthy. You're not physically healthy. So even though when we came here, we were dirt poor, really. All of us worked at McDonald's. I've been working since I was 14. My first job was newspaper delivery. You'll hear about my dad. He's the greatest man in the world. He's 92. To the grace of God, and I tell him all the time, I want you to live to your 100 years old. He did everything to take us out of the country. And if he didn't, I guarantee you I'd either be dead or stoned. Okay? I guarantee you that. They warned him all the time about me, that if you don't control her, we're going to have to take her eventually. And this man sacrificed everything and brought us to this country. So fast forward to 2009, I opened up Trimline Weight Loss Centers, because I said to myself, if I see 5 people this week, I've done something right. In less than 3 months, there was standing room only, and people were waiting outside. It was insane, and I couldn't believe it. But I know that God was watching over me, and He was building my path. I knew there was something I was supposed to do special in this world, and I truly believe that was it. Nutrition is the most important thing in the world. We teach it to our children. We do. We adults, we parents, and generation after generation, we can teach them. Nutrition is everything to me. The program is protein, vegetable, fruit, fat, starch, dairy. Totally normal. No keto, no intermittent fasting, no micros, because I don't believe in them whatsoever. No calorie counting. As a scientist, honestly, you really can't. Calorie means nothing. There's 500 calories of chicken to 500 calories of gummy bear, okay? I think those are 2 different calories, just so you know. But to give you an sense of nutrition is what feeds your mind. Not just your body, but it feeds your mind. How are you going to not be against Alzheimer's? How are you going to really function and focus? So for me, when I teach nutrition, I teach a lifestyle change. Whatever you're going to do to lose your weight and be healthy, you need to do that for the rest of your life. It's not you doing keto, you're gonna cut your carbs out and you're gonna go to bath or intermittent fasting. Whatever you're learning, you've gotta do it for the rest of your life. And that is what true lifestyle and nutrition is. So, discipline, everybody's like, well, willpower and discipline, Nadia. No, it's not about willpower. It's about your relationship with food. Okay, so we teach the relationship with your food. Your relationship with food is everything. You're either going to let it control you, or you're going to control it. But the most important part, which people don't understand that makes it happen, is the relationship with yourself. If you love yourself, if you truly want to take care of yourself, you will never put junk and food in your body on a constant basis. You'll do it sometimes, don't get me wrong. I love French fries and I love cupcake and I do eat them, okay? I just don't eat them 6 days a week. So I always tell people one bad day does not make you gain weight and one good day does not make you healthy. It's what you did the other 6 days that matters. And that is what I teach. I teach nutrition. That's the easy part of the whole program. Because that's easy. We can teach you about that. But I want to teach you to build a better relationship with your food, because that's the most important thing. And if you think you can't gain control over food, I'm standing proof. Okay, 57 pounds. And the mind is the greatest thing in the world. You can totally train your mind to do anything, slowly. So when I train mind, we do two times a week counseling. We're pounding it into adult heads to look at food differently. Every single week, it's behavioral modification. We're constantly pounding it into your head to look at food differently, but more so to look at yourself differently. Like, I want to empower women and men. You can absolutely control food and be able to look at yourself and be like, this is who I began with and who I end. You're going to be two different people. Because your relationship with food is going to change, but more so your relationship with yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody will. I always say this isn't your husband's fault, this isn't your wife's fault, this isn't your children, your grandchildren, your cat, or your dog. It's nobody's fault. It's you. The choices you make on a daily basis define your day, define your week, define your path. And I always wanted to help people to find a path that they can actually rely on somebody else, me, to hold you accountable, to make you understand that you're worth it, to make you understand that nobody has power over your mind and the choices you're going to make for yourself. So your nutrition, your relationship with nutrition is extremely important with food, and then your relationship with yourself. Now I know summer's coming around the corner. I always tell people summer bodies are made in winter. It's a really cute slang, right? But honestly, there is no season to being healthy in your body. Yeah, it's a motivation, but you should always look at your body and your mind, not in a season, but what you're going to do for life. But this is a great time. You know, summer's around the corner, and I want you to be able to really learn about nutrition, build a better relationship with food, and build a better relationship with yourself before even summer comes around. One tip I'll give you, because we all love our bellies, right? We women and men, everybody's the belly area. Everybody's like, the stubborn belly fat does not want to go away. I said this on TV the other day, it didn't come out right. And just so you know, English is my second language, and I'm learning this with slang, it's really, really bad. But there is a reel out there that is Leonardo DiCaprio. And it shows people working out, it shows people eating right, and then he comes on and it shows the belly fat, and the belly fat saying, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Have you ever seen that reel? But the belly fat is stubborn. And the only thing that's going to get rid of that belly fat, remember, belly fat's choking your liver, your kidney. It is the worst area of fat to have. And we all know that we hate them in clothes. Okay, we really, really hate them in clothes. Okay, that's just the topper of it. But your belly fat is the worst fat. And I always think God had a sense of humor. Because when women are pregnant, you know how they get that big belly? When men get really big bellies, what do they look like? Like they're pregnant. I always believed that God had an amazing sense of humor because he wanted men to feel how we women felt when we were pregnant. Don't you think, Pastor Dave? No? Am I wrong? Okay, I'm just saying. I find it to be interesting. Just a thought, right? So, don't put starch with dinner every night. That's the main thing I want you to learn from here. Don't put starch with dinner every night. We have 7 dinners for the rest of our lives. Rest of our lives. And if people, I'm always thinking about food. I'm always thinking about food. I eat it in math of a 250-pound man. I swear to you, hang out with me for a week. So starch for dinner. Don't teach your children to have it for dinner every night. Don't put your starch for dinner every night. Protein, vegetable, and you can do a million things with protein and vegetables. Believe me, I've done them. Okay? So out of 7 nights, if you want to lose your belly fat, starch for dinner 2 nights a week. Friday or Saturday and another day during the week. So do protein and vegetables. You can sleep better, and that after dinner snacking, try not to make it starch. You could do a Yasso bar, which tastes like ice cream. It really, really does. It's amazing. You know, so I can teach you what to snack after dinner. It's not the after snacking. You know, dinner snacking is the issue. It's what we're eating. So you do that for a month, meaning put starch for dinner 2 nights a week. I guarantee you, you're going to lose your belly fat. You're going to sleep better, and you're going to get up in the morning full of energy so you can conquer your day. Okay? So I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to take questions at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take questions at the end. And I want to thank you so much all. I look out there, and I just love your beautiful faces, and I truly appreciate you being here.
So my question for you, hold on. Oh, yeah, go ahead. So, question for you. Is there a time in the evening when you would say after that hour, nothing?
2 hours.
2 hours before bed? So bedtime is at 10 o'clock, then 9 is nothing after 9,
Yeah,
or nothing after 8.
8. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So I have dinner anywhere from 7 to 8 o'clock. And
Okay.
I go to bed around 11.
That sounds late.
Yeah, because I work late.
Okay,
Yeah, so I hate 8, but 7:30 is my thing.
okay.
But I go to bed around 11:22, 11:41, 93 exact. I hate zeros and 5s. So I want to be before. I do. I go to bed at 11:22. I set my alarm at 8:22. I never set it at 22.
I knew you were a
Or
little odd,
6,
but
I'm
now
very
you
odd.
know.
I'm extremely odd. 6:11. You know, I do things like that. So they say 4 hours before, meaning your dinner. But my dinner's around 7:30, so I hardly snack after dinner. And if I do, I have a Yasso bar and nuts, walnuts, or almonds. Any of nuts are good.
So if you've got a full dinner at 7:30, so you're still going to snack maybe?
Maybe. Very rare, but I do it.
Okay.
But it's like a handful of walnuts, because I read it's good for my brain, so I'm trying to work on
Walnuts are
that.
good for your brain.
Yeah.
There's,
Almonds are great.
right.
Yeah,
Brazil
so
nuts.
Brazilian nuts are amazing, but I don't
Right.
like them. So,
You don't like Brazil
oh,
nuts?
sorry, there's
So,
something
yeah,
really
you level weird.
buttery. Yeah, buttery. There's buttery about
They
it. There's
are.
something like, in my
Okay.
mouth. So,
All right.
but, and again, after dinner, you can snack. Like, if your dinner's at 5 o'clock and you go to bed at 10,
Right.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
If you're like, I have no control, I want something. No, that's normal.
Okay.
Because it's a long time. So if you snack something like around that 7:30, 8 o'clock mark, you're
Mhm.
fine. I've been drawing my mom up if my dinner was 5 and I was going to bed at 10. So that is not an issue. Really good.
The visual among your arm off the start, right? Yeah. That's. I think that's really helpful. Now, would you stay away from starches like pretzels,
Yes.
things like that as snackage?
Yeah, the more you snack, remember, if you have a starch for breakfast, a starch for snack, a starch for lunch, a starch for snack, a starch for dinner, there's nothing wrong with starches. And sugar is not evil. It really isn't. Nothing is. It controls you, right? If you gain control over it, there's nothing wrong with sugar. I know a lot of people listening to me are going to be like, you're crazy. No, I eat sugar,
It's
but I
better,
do it in moderation.
it's better than the opposite,
The alternative, right? Yeah.
I mean,
It's natural, you
it's
know?
not, do not give power to food. Nothing's evil. Don't give power to food. The more you do it, the more it's going to control you. So,
Okay.
yeah. So pretzels, honestly, they're starches, you know, fruit, dairy, snack on those things, vegetables. And there's a lot of, and have some, if you want to have some sugar, dark chocolate, whatever in your day, you absolutely can. And don't feel guilty about it. When you feel guilty about something, what does it do? It makes you want to go even eat more. Okay? Yeah. So don't feel guilty about anything, and do not give food power.
That being said, I mean, a lot of us use food as a way to do something for us. So if I'm depressed, I'll eat. If I'm happy, I'll eat. If there's a birthday, we'll eat. So a lot of things focus around food, whether it's up or down, right? Or there's a bunch of people in the room who do meetings, like meal meetings, which I've tried to almost eliminate. I try not to have a meal meeting because I never know the diet. I try to keep a diet, so I try not to do meal meetings. I'm not gonna have lunch with somebody too often or something like that.
I see.
Right.
I was trying to figure out what meal meetings meant.
Yeah,
Even like
Right.
meeting people for a meeting.
yeah, right, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's
Okay.
your choice. I always tell
Okay.
people, if you go to the same restaurant as me, they're gonna give you the same menu. The difference is I'm gonna choose differently than you are.
Mhm.
That's it.
Say more about that, because I know what you mean by that, but say more about it. Because
I do,
I
because
don't think people understand what their options are.
the options are everything. Your option, that cook or the chef that's making your meal, you're gonna think of them as your personal cook and chef. You pay good money for them to make your meal, don't you? Yeah. So tell them exactly how you want it. When I have first ever met anybody in my life that would go out to dinner or lunches, they're like, do you always do this? Do you always order your food like this? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then before you know it, guess what they're doing? They're ordering like me.
So don't look at the menu as so structured that you can't play with it a bit.
You play with it all the time.
Okay,
There's not a single time I don't play with that menu.
okay.
So I make them cook them the way I wanted to. So if I'm getting a fish, I said don't put any butter on it. I want you to grill it. Don't even put any salt and pepper on it. Guess what's on the table? Salt and pepper. You can control it.
Mm.
Then when I want to get my vegetables, I need you to please steam it fresh. I want no butter on it. Guess what they can bring on the side? The butter. Okay? And if I see another vegetable on there that I like let's say if I see broccoli rabe on another dish, and I said, can I please not have the potato, I'll take the broccoli rabe. She goes, well, I don't know if I can put the broccoli rabe on there. I said, I see it on the other one. I'm very confused on why you can't put it on my plate. Right? And they will.
Because there's a lot of chefs like being inventive and creative, and so all you're doing is just letting a chef be a chef, right?
Absolutely, but also, most people go to chains, okay? There's a lot of chains out there. They don't
Chain
care.
restaurants.
You got it.
Right.
They don't care. They absolutely do not care how you order your food. And these days, with all the allergies that are going along, they ask you anyways, like, hey, do you have any allergies? And I don't lie, but if they're gonna give me a problem on making my food the way it is, I'm like, I'm very sensitive to that. I'm not, I just don't want it. Okay,
So be a little more forward about that kind of
you
stuff,
have
right?
to be, you
Yeah.
have to be forward. You are paying money. If the server says to you, well, I'm gonna have to upcharge it, I go, why?
Mm.
Why are you upcharging? You're taking a potato and putting more vegetables on there. Okay, if you want to upcharge it, go right ahead, but I don't think that's right.
Mm.
Okay, and honestly, I don't care about the $2 upcharge, I just don't think it's right. Because they're trying to make you unhealthy. Why are you upcharging me for something that you're taking one thing off and putting the other thing on? I will always say what's on my mind kindly and nicely and respectfully, but I will always say what's on my mind. This is the food you're paying for that you're about to put into your body. Now, do I sometimes eat it the way it is? Sure. I've had a smash burger with French fries. I will totally tell you that. Okay?
Really?
Medium rare smash burger, but it has to be medium rare. Oh my gosh, you can't eat cooked meat. But I've had it, and I enjoy it. I eat the whole thing. I eat the French fries with a lot of ketchup. That's the only time I do ketchup. And I walk away. But you know what? That was one meal I enjoyed, and I don't feel guilty about it. Then the rest of the week, I eat the way I love. I don't sprinkle unhealthy into my week. Healthy into my week. I sprinkle unhealthy into my week. I don't know if you ever saw that Oprah Winfrey. She did an interview. They were interviewing about her food. And she said, you know what? When I'm I feel like I'm down in the bottom of the water, like I'm sinking in a pool. She goes, when I want to come and eat healthy, I feel like I eat something. I come out and that's when I'm breathing. That's when I'm eating something that I love, you know, that it's fatty or it's carby. But the rest of the time, I feel like I'm at the bottom of the pool and I'm trying to eat healthy. You know what I said? I said, I feel the opposite. I feel when I'm at the bottom of that pool, that's when I'm eating unhealthy. That's when I don't feel good. That's where I'm holding my breath, is then, meaning minimal time. When I come up to breathe and see the sun shining on my face, that's when I'm eating healthy. That's when I feel good. That's when I'm in control. So those are two different, same scenarios, two different thought processes and how you look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to transition real quickly. I'm going to keep this brief, but I just want to highlight a few things that Nadia said and just take them into a place where we can talk about what it looks like to think about these things spiritually and emotionally as well. She mentioned about discipline. I think discipline is an important word that we all focused in on as we were meeting and talking about this time together, because personal discipline is a challenging thing for us, right? You either have it or you don't, or you either feel like you have it or you don't, right? And there are people who are just naturally, it seems just naturally disciplined, self-disciplined. And there are other people who feel like, discipline's a hard thing for me. I need an alarm clock, or I need this, or I need that to keep me on track. And so I just wanted to say that whatever it takes for each one of us to feel that sense of personal discipline is important to engage those things. Don't think that you can be personally disciplined all on your own. One of the things I love to do is I love to go to the gym, but I have an accountability partner. I have a wingman who, if I'm not in the gym, if he's not in the gym, I'm tempted not to be there myself. You with me? Does that make sense? Right? That's my personal discipline kind of thing. He's my guy. He's my person, right? And so when he's in the gym, and then so we all often talk to each other. Hey, you're in the gym tomorrow, right? And he's like, yeah. So if you're gonna be there, yeah, I'm gonna be there. And then we'll work out against each other, and we'll joke and laugh and have fun. It's one of the things I love about that kind of interaction is that not only my personal discipline in my own life, but I have an accountability partner in lots of places. And I have those in my spiritual life as well. I meet every other week with a bunch of guys early in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, Front Street Diner, and we sit and talk about life and how life is going for us. Because I can't expect that I've got to hold all of that in check all the time by myself. I need somebody else to help me do that. I'm not built to live alone, right? None of us are. I think one of the things spiritually I would say to you is none of us are built to live independently on our own, like we often find ourselves wanting to do, right? We often find ourselves wanting to just live an independent life. I'll make all my own decisions. I'll do this all by myself, right? And so the discipline and the sense of working together with another person is incredibly important for body, mind, and soul. Secondly, I think the other thing we need to just hit, and you hit it really well, is the personal negative talk that we do inside our own heads. Let's just be honest. You look at a mirror, and what's the first thing you see? For many of us, it's something we don't want to see. It's something we don't like. We tell ourselves these narratives like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, or I don't want to look in a mirror. We have these personal self messages that we speak to ourselves. And the negative voices inside of us are things that we either allow or we challenge. And I think that's really important. When I look in a mirror, I can allow my negative voice, or I can look in the mirror and shut that negative voice down in some way. And I think that's really important for us to know that that's something inside of our heads. Which, by the way, a lot of this stuff is from the neck up. A lot of the stuff we're talking about today is from the neck up. My relationship with food starts with my taste buds and my nose. But oftentimes more than that, my relationship with food and my relationship with my health starts in my head, right? It's the way I see myself, the way I look at myself, the way I evaluate myself. And as Nadia said, that's mine to deal with. I've got to sit and deal with that. Whether you sit in a room like this with a cross, or whether you sit in a room with a Star of David, or whether you sit in a room, whatever it might be, you sit somewhere with that one who is over all of us and have that conversation about who you are and how you've been made. My personal understanding, my personal belief is we were made by a God who loves us and who made us to be exactly who we are. Now that doesn't mean anything goes, but it does mean that we need to take care of ourselves and we need to love what God made. And then lastly, let me just add that many times, most of us, one of the biggest struggles is not what we put in our mouths, but what we allow in our heads. And the fact that we can get inside our own head and ride that roller coaster, right? We do. We get inside our own heads, and I do this all the time. I ride the roller coaster. And so it's important to understand that the roller coaster ride gets stretched out over an entire week. That's important because here's what happens. The peaks and the valleys of a roller coaster, when you stretch it out, those become less sharp, less intense, right? So I'm not going uphill really hard, I'm not going downhill really hard when I stretch that out further, right? And so when I look at my life in the course of an entire week, which has been really important for me as someone who's has some health issues in my life, and I need to watch what I do. You know, like Nadia, I look at my entire week in what I can eat and what my body needs to have. So this week, yes, I went to Red Robin and had a burger. Their whiskey barbecue. and bottomless fries, right? So, yeah, I heard that. Oh, yeah. Like, this is our relationship with food, right? We get excited about it, right? It's the next thing to sex. Anyway, but, you know, I looked at my entire week when I did that. I looked at my entire week and went, okay, yeah, I can do that tonight. Because I'm not going to do it tomorrow, and I'm not going to do it the next day, and I'm not going to do it the next day. And so I can balance those things out. And I think that's really important because the roller coaster inside our head says, I'm going uphill really sharp, and then all of a sudden we're going downhill, and it's really hard, and it's really fast, and it's ugly, and we're back. You know, we do all these things in our head. So I think it's just really important in our own minds to just look at the entire week versus a single solitary day and get out of that, because that ride, if you let it, it will control you. You can get inside your own head and then not get out. And some of us have been there, right? We get inside our own heads and it's like, this is a downward spiral. I can't get out of this. How do you get off this ride? And the reality is getting off that ride goes back to those other things, the accountability partner, and staying disciplined, and getting rid of the negative talk in your life with the understanding that there is something bigger and better for my life. And I'm not it. There's a God above all of this. So, all right, Dave, you're up. Dave Brixisom's EXP Sports and fitness, and he's going to take this to the next level with physical fitness and personal fitness. Right?
Thanks, Pastor.
You
How's
bet.
everybody good?
Yeah.
Everybody good? Awesome. I want you guys to think about something here. What's the human body only know? It knows God and one other thing. Only knows one other thing. No. You think that, but that's a good one. I like that. What else does it know?
Breathing.
Close. Part of that. It only knows survival. That's it. It only knows how to survive. Everything is based on survival in this world. They talked about nutrition. Correct? Survival. God. Survival. Off of survival, there's two things that happen. There's healing and adapting. If you can understand those three core principles, you can actually accomplish almost anything you want in this whole world. That's the problem. We don't understand that. We think of everything else out there except what's going to put us where we need to be. And that's what makes all the difference. So think about the physical part of our human body. Okay? Think about the physical part. Think about what it has to do every single day. How many of us have ever been injured? Raise your hand. How many? Ankle injuries, back injuries, pain. Almost every single one of us has experienced some type of injury. Here's how God made us. I'm on this path straight down. Okay? When I'm a baby, my path is perfect. If I stayed on this path, my chances of ever having pain, discomfort, injury, and all that are slim to none. And that's a fact. All of a sudden, though, we play sports, we're young, we do some crazy things, okay? We get off that path a little bit, sort of like sin. Okay, now we're off a little bit. Now, if I can redirect myself back here, I'm back in line again. Okay, just like sin. If I can redirect myself, repent, do what I need to do, not just repent, but actually fix the repentance, okay, I can get back in line. How many of us ever do that? Very few. So what we do is we get a little bit better, we feel good, right? We feel back where we think we should be, and then what happens? Then we go back to normal, all right, what we think is our normal, okay? But then we get hurt again, because what happens in the healing process? Say I sprain my right ankle, what has to happen in the human body to function? I told you it needs to survive, right? It has to heal, and it has to adapt. So what is it doing for you to get from point A to point B? Because remember, it all goes back to those 3 core principles. So what is it doing? If I sprain my right ankle, what happens? The body has to compensate someplace else. That's what we don't understand as human beings. We think because we feel okay, that we're okay. But very rare do we ever get back to where I need to be. And we say as we age, oh, that's just normal age, and that's bull. I do not believe in age at all. Age is a number that somebody gave. Somebody said, here's your birthday on this day you were born. This is how you age. That's not true at all. I've seen people that are 100 years old look like they're 30. And I've seen 20-year-olds that look like they're 90. So age doesn't matter, okay? We put that in our mind. They both spoke about it. It's what you put in your mind, and that's what we've done. Some doctor or some person along the line told you you need to age and you need to feel a certain, well, I feel good for an 80-year-old. Well, what does that mean? What is an 80-year-old supposed to feel like? It should feel vibrant. It should be ready to go. But we don't. Because we get stuck in these agendas that everybody's pushing us, right? So now I'm still injured. And as I continue to get injured, guess where I keep going? Now look where my mind is. And then we wonder why our bodies hurts. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my ankle hurts. My knee hurts. Why I sprained my ankle. So let me give you an example. I had a lady who came into my facility. She's in her 50s, pushing 60 now. Said, man, my back's killing me. Okay, let me see you walk. Saw her walk, and I said, did you ever hurt your ankle? She goes, now you mentioned it. I heard it about 30 years ago. I said, you compensate everything off to the one side. You shifted your back, and that's what's causing your problems. We went and fixed her ankle. I didn't touch her back. Did not touch her back. We fixed her ankle within 3 weeks. She had no back. She didn't have ankle pain. She had back. The human body will always find a way. Okay, there's a story. They did a movie on it. A hiker fell into a canyon. I don't know if you guys ever heard. I forget his name, but he fell into a canyon. This happened. They did the movie in 2014. He was stuck there. Nobody could find him. Nobody knew where he was. He survived by doing one thing. Now, it sounds disgusting, but this is how he survived. He gnawed his arm off to get himself out of position because his arm was stuck, holding him in a position. He gnawed his arm off. That only happens because the human body wants to survive. It's based on survival. Now, we say it's disgusting, but let's be honest. If it came down to this, we'd probably all try the same thing. Okay? Because that's how the human body was designed. I did not design it. The great Lord did. Thank God. Because he knew exactly what we would do to it, and he knew us how to get out of it. So we talk about all these diseases that we have with these injuries. Okay? Whether you have cancer, Parkinson's, whatever, and they're all horrible. Do we ever think that God already knew that those things would probably occur at some point in our lives? Do you not always think he already made the cures for most of these things without all these medical interventions? Because we don't look deep inside ourselves. This is what the whole seminar is based on. The whole seminar is based on you looking inside of yourself. You have the healing power. They all talked about the mind. They all talked about it. Now, many guys that I talk to say, oh man, my kids are all sick, I'm going to get sick. And then they get sick. Well, how did that happen? Oh, I live it. That's not true either. And I can go into a whole debate on that stuff. Okay? The whole thing is based on how you actually look at yourself. Pastor said it best. He said, how do you look at yourself when you wake up? Most of us are already negative people. We live in a negative world. Negative sells. It does. Honestly, look at the news. Any news station, negative always sells. That's how they make all their money. They know how we're programmed. We need to reprogram ourselves, though, to be positive people. Positive. Have a better relationship with nutrition. How about a better relationship with the man who gave us everything? Who sacrificed his only son for us to live the way that we live. And he said the choices are ours. So we make the wrong choices, and then we wonder why, oh, God abandoned you. He didn't abandon you. We made the wrong choices. Every single thing that we do has a consequence. It can be positive or it could be negative. But it's constantly you figuring out what you need to do to make everything right. If I'm hurt, if my back is hurt, and I tried everything, have you really tried everything? Have you actually got down and prayed? 6 years ago is when everything changed for me. Okay, I could lift the house. I could deadlift 700 pounds. I could squat 600 pounds. I could bench. I could do everything. Physically, felt nothing was impossible until that broke. Because you know why? My spiritual and my mental were shot. They sucked. Okay? I was age 44 at the time. Okay? 6 years ago. I was sitting in a car, and it took me 2 to 3 minutes to get out, and I am not exaggerating when I say it, maybe even longer. I would move my right leg and back hip were so destroyed. I would move like this to try to get them out of the car. Not one doctor could tell me what was wrong. Not one doctor could say, oh, we'll give you a shot. I don't want a shot in my back. What do I want a shot for? Go to therapy. That doesn't work. Okay, so what do we do? I prayed to God to show me answers. Now, he didn't fix me right then, don't get me wrong. I didn't wake up the next morning, oh, it's fine. He showed me and opened my eyes to see what I could do. Okay? See where I could go. Over the next 6 months, I worked on what he showed me. Okay? Worked on it. Consistently. Not he said, you have to stay consistent. I still do those same exercises 6 years later. How much back pain do I have? 0. My hip feels great. And it's nothing on me. I don't give any credit to myself. It's the Lord. He showed me the way. He showed me the way. I wish I could say I could put my hands on you to be healed. I'm not St. Peter. I'm not Paul. I'm not Jesus. Okay? But there is definitely a way to do it. But it has to stay consistent with everything you do. If you're going to be consistently praying, you got to be consistently taking care of the temple. This is the temple. You, when you stare in the mirror, that is your temple. The Lord gave you that for a reason. Then why don't we take care of it? Why do we allow so many people to impress upon us that as you age, you're supposed to feel a certain way? You're supposed to feel, that's the biggest bunch of lies that I've ever heard. If your doctor's telling you that, that's a lie. If your doctor's spending a minute or 2 with you every appointment, that's wrong. Find another doctor. Their job is to sit there and figure out what's wrong with you. It takes 15 minutes, it takes 20, it takes 30, I don't care. Because I used to work in those facilities. I know how much they bill you. I know how much they charge. If you guys knew how much your insurance company, if you had to pay out of pocket, you would be irate. And maybe now we have to, because insurance stinks nowadays compared to 30 years ago when I worked. Okay? But this is the things that we need to change. You have to stay consistent with what you're doing. Find something that works. Start to feel better. And then put it all together. Pray to God every single day. Not even just pray to him. Actually, I say I talk to him. That's what changed probably the most in my life, is when I actually stopped so much praying, all these prayers, and actually just sat there and talked to him. And said, God, what am I doing wrong? How can you help me? How can you do this? How can I do this better, God? Then he said, well, if I'm going to help you, you're going to start helping other people. And that's what my passion is. I work with athletes, guys that play in the NFL, the NBA, you name it, overseas, making millions of dollars. My favorite clientele, okay, besides my kids and my wife, they're my favorite, okay, are the people that come in with some type of problem. And they're stuck. And I said, we're going to figure this out now. Am I going to say it's going to happen right there? No. But we're going to continue to work on it until we figure out what's wrong. Because there's always a solution to the problem. But you have to actually have faith. You actually have to pray. You have to eat right. And if you don't eat right, I don't care how great what I give you is, you have to eat right. And then you have to look at the temple. Look at yourself and say, if this is the temple that God wanted and the Holy Spirit is, does he want to live in this? If I'm feeding it bad stuff, if I'm not praying, if I'm not taking care of it physically. Think about that. Is that how the temple's supposed to survive and thrive? If we're not doing those basic things? Those are the things that we should always look at. That's why I came to Pastor Dave and I said, let's do this center, the Human Performance Center. I consider every single one of us an athlete, from the second you're born to the second you die. Now, some play sports, which I work with, but we're all athletes. We're all on an athletic journey to get, hopefully, that we can go up to God, okay, and he says, well done, my good and faithful servant. I pray that we all get there. That's what our goal should be. But he wants us to thrive while we're here. He wants us to have the body, to take care of ourselves. I deal with a couple of people that are on the onset of Alzheimer's. And that might be one of the worst diseases. The reason I say that is because physically they're there. But the person working them or taking care of them has to have a hard time. I pray that it never happens to anybody, but I see that, and I see what they have to go through. That person doesn't know them anymore. Well, there's ways to combat that. If I eat the wrong stuff, we know, guess what? My chances of having dementia are much higher. They are. They just are. There's proof to that. There's proof to a lot of these things, and nutrition is hugely important, but once again, it goes back to the temple that God gave us. Are we willing to put even if we have to endure some discomfort. When my back was hurting, guess what? It still was discomforting to do a lot of the exercise. But I persevered through it, got better, just like every single one of us can. All right? But it all goes to the three processes: the spirit, the mind, and the body. Think of it right there. That triangle right there. Put that together. What can you accomplish? Us as parents and adults always tell our kids, you can be whatever you want to be. But as soon as we get to a certain age, and all of a sudden, so we're totally different. We totally think different. We don't think like that anymore. And I talk to people, I'm like, why can't you do that? I'm just so far out of shape. Okay, well, let's get you back in shape. It's going to take time, but you can easily get there if you're willing to put the work in. If you're not willing to put the work in, then you can't expect miracles to happen. You have to put the work in. But that's what it's all about. How can I take the time to get to a certain point? Why can't I feel great? Why can't I feel like when I was 20? That's humanly impossible. Has anybody ever proven that you can't feel like that? Because I've seen guys that are in their 60s and 70s that are moving pretty darn well. And I've seen, like I said, people in their 20s that are moving hard. So we have to decide which way you want to go. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming out today. Thank you so much. We'll come up, we have to answer any questions.
We're gonna answer some questions. I just have to tell you, this week, there was a guy in the gym, and he was really complaining about his workout, because you rewrote all of our workouts this past week, and you jacked us all up, and it was great. I mean, it's good, I'm feeling it. But this guy, he's complaining, right, in the gym, and I said, dude, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 54, I'll be 55 this year. I said, you know I got you by 10 years. And he said, you got me by everything. And he's, later on, we had a little conversation. He's like, I hope to be like you when I'm 65. It's just that whole thing. It's not age. It's the determination, staying with it. And you taught me that back when I broke my arm, and pretty bad, and came back. I came into Dave's gym, and my goal was I wanted to do pull-ups on what was then a broken arm, right? And so my goal was to get back to doing pull-ups. And of course, Dave said, well, could you do pull-ups before you broke your arm? The doctor asked the same question. What's your goal? I want to do pull-ups. So what, could you do this before? Yes, I could. Could do 5. So, even now, you got me back to that spot. Yeah, I got it the other day. Yeah, I got it the other day, and I could probably, I could recover. Anyway, so it is that whole thing. And there's guys in the gym that are older than me. I walked in, and there's a guy easily 10 years older than me who was in the other day. So, and he's working on this. It's that whole thing of that personal discipline, staying the course, looking at your entire week, not one single day, and staying solidly connected to those pieces that make us who we are, the temple of God. So, all right, questions? Any questions in the room? As we wrap up, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is there like a diet that you recommend or can you heal your gut from gastroparesis?
Yeah, it's also really your food, and it's not a diet, it's just you learning the nutrition aspect of it, or how that's going to relieve it for you, okay? And you have to also find out why is that being caused to begin with. So once we find out what's causing it, then we can fix it. Is it really food, or is it something else that's going on? So it's a great question, but it needs to be like, what are you doing right now on a daily basis? What you're eating, we can really dig into that. And it could be something caused from your food or something else, and we can totally find that out and then come up with a plan, all nutrition based, to fix it.
Can I piggyback a question on that? Can your physiologically, and so both of you can answer this, can your body change and certain foods feel better and other foods don't? Like, for example, I love pasta and red sauce, but red sauce right now just doesn't love me back, right? I'd rather do like oil and vinegar or, something like that. So pasta for me right now is all about, extra virgin olive oil. I'm trying to stay away from marinaras and red sauces because my body's just doesn't like it anymore. I feel it for days, right? So is that a thing? Does that happen? I mean, something I could eat when I was in my 20s right now is just not as pleasant for me to eat. I try to stay away from that. Is that What's going on?
Break down. So what happens is your body changes over time. We all know that. So the cells, unfortunately, we live in a society unlike when Noah lived or Abraham lived. They lived 900 something. Okay, they didn't have environmental toxins that are all over the place. Let's be honest. Everything is sprayed. Everything is whatever. All this kind of stuff. So the more stuff you put in your body, the more toxin buildup you have. So sickness is really, in my honest opinion, is not so much a germ that got in there. It's your body's detoxification process. So if I have too many toxins in my body has to get rid of them somehow. If they have not gotten rid of them correctly, there's too many of them, it has to get sick. Through fever, sickness, runny nose, vomiting, whatever you want to say, that happens. Similar with food, if my body has all kind of toxins and it now has blockages that certain things do not taste right, or, let's be honest, they change all this stuff. If you actually knew what was in your dairy or cheese, you probably would not eat cheese. What they use nowadays to actually cultivate the cheese. It's really bad. Unfortunately, because big companies take over, what's the cheaper way to do about things? Food. I don't know if you guys heard about the whole Reese's thing that came out. Anybody hear about the Reese's thing? The grandson came out. So the grandson, or one of the people who sold the grandson, who sold the recipe, the father did to Hershey to make. It was made with milk chocolate and peanut butter, really. Well, if you guys look what's in that now, it's not milk chocolate and it's not peanut butter. It's a cheaper chemical that tastes like that. So we think we're taking in marinara sauce, and it might not be marinara sauce anymore. It might not be natural marinara sauce. So our bodies now are rejecting it because it doesn't taste right. Not that you couldn't, because I guarantee if we went over to Italy.
Oh, and when I was in Italy, I didn't have a problem.
Exactly. There's a big problem.
Yeah, that is true. That
We
was
America,
true.
because we want convenience, and that's the same thing when it comes back to when I said I was hurt or hurt. We want to be fixed right like that. Or, hey, we're overweight, we need to lose 30 pounds. I want to get it done yesterday. We then have now skipped processes that the human body do not like. So most likely, what happens is the body doesn't like it. So Nadia was mentioning about vegetables. I cannot eat raw carrots or broccoli. Do you know what raw carrots and broccoli really are? Do we believe that they're real vegetables? Do you know that the hybrid, they're not real. They were made by man. They were crossbred. You know the most important vegetable that you can honestly get? Better than this one. Who knows the most important vegetable that most of you will never even guess is a vegetable? It's a good one, though. Yeah. It grows. It's going to grow probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now.
Right.
It's going to grow in everybody's yard about 3 or 4 weeks. Boom, dandelion. That is a vegetable. It's not a weed that they have told us. It is a vegetable. There are studies done that if you took the root out, dried it out, did that, sipped on that every single day, and you had cancer, most likely you could probably beat your cancer. Now you have to eliminate other things, don't get me wrong.
It also does things for diabetes too.
Correct.
Yes.
100%. That's a natural vegetable.
And you can
Persland
make
is another one. But yet, do you understand that our human body is made by God? If we crossbreed all this kind of stuff and you put all this other stuff in there, the body sometimes can take it in. When it's an adaptation process, and other times it can't. So as you age, if I start to change the recipe because I want to make more money, and Pastor doesn't know about it, I'm going to put something in there and take something out. Now Pastor can't take it. And then we think, well, must be me, I'm changing. Not always the case.
Okay.
A lot of times what happens is the food industry decides to trick us. And
I didn't
take
think
more of our
I didn't
money.
think I was alone on that one.
No.
No, you're not. I can just jump in and I'll make my own homemade
Oh, very good.
spaghetti sauce, and it doesn't bother me, but anything out of the jar,
Right, very good.
I'm messed up.
That's better.
Yeah, absolutely. Homemade is better than anything. That's
It's
for
a
sure.
lot of work.
And Nadia's the only one who can pronounce the chemicals in it.
I know.
Are there any other questions in the room?
I can, unfortunately.
Okay, that question over here.
Hi, what do you think of the magic weight loss drugs?
Oh, those,
It's everywhere.
I know. So, oh my gosh, I've been battling with that for a very, very long time because I like things natural, right? I'm a pretty natural person, and you see what you get. And let me see, what is it saying? You see what you get. I guess whatever. So, but stop it. Okay. The other day I texted Mary Ann, my best friend, that I'm juggling so many things like a hot potato, and she said, that's wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? Isn't that it? You're juggling things with a hot potato? Slings. I ruin slings all the time. She has a bunch of them. She said, that's not what it is.
Keep going. Keep going.
Anyway, but the point being is,
Put the shovel down.
and I'm digging myself constantly. So I really don't believe in them. They work. They do work. And they have side effects. cigarettes, and it is a drug. I think what we need to understand, it's absolutely a drug. Now, if you're on it because food noise, so I have a nurse practitioner, her name is Steph Archberger. So we do the radio show together a lot of times, and you should listen because we're ridiculous, very funny, but we do educate at the same time. So the GLP-1s or the semaglutides, they kill the food noise. So if somebody constantly is over snacking and the food calls them, and they just can't, they're overeating, your relationship with food is really, really bad, that helps to kill the food noise. So it doesn't increase your metabolism, it doesn't teach you how to eat right, it doesn't build a better relationship with food, it just kills the food noise and you stop eating. That is everything that I don't believe in. I eat from the minute I wake up till about 2.5 hours, 3 hours before I go to bed. When I tell you I eat like a 250-pound man, I'm not joking. My whole family makes fun of me because I have dinner before dinner. They're like, you're having dinner before dinner, okay? It was 5 o'clock, at 7:30 reservations at Bushido, or however you say it, and I was making myself a pork chop. And then he's like, are you having dinner before dinner? I said, I'm gonna die in 2.5 hours if I don't eat something, okay? I'm gonna die. What am I gonna make it, okay? I'm gonna gnaw my arm off, just like I said earlier, not that guy, okay? So, not because of it. But it does work. I believe you gotta put nutrition with it, okay? But if you don't have that horrible relationship with food, meaning it doesn't constantly call you, you're not constantly eating, you don't need it. It's your relationship with food and more so yourself that needs to change. So a lot of people are on it, absolutely. There's like 1 million of them out. And you can order online. How scary is that? How scary is that? Like, to me, that's crazy.
So a short term, would you like a short term thing?
If you're
just to
struggling
get
for,
you
I would do
somewhere?
nutrition first.
What you do?
I
Okay.
can't say anything other than that because of my belief, right? You gotta do nutrition first. Then if you're like, okay, I'm still struggling, I'm not doing it, you wanna put like a month or 2 of the shots in there. Low dose, please start off that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna condemn it. I mean, I was 57 pounds heavy, and I struggled for a very, very long time. And I put my work in it to lose my weight. But I will never condemn it, because honestly, losing weight is hard, and I'm 100% about helping anybody to lose it and change their life.
Other questions? Yes.
I have a quick question, it's a little bit more of a side note. So the younger generation now that's like working out, and like my son, he does powerlifting. And I remember there was a time where I would go and lift weights and work out and run without having to take pre-workout. Now it seems like that's a thing that people
Like a supplements pre-workout and after workout?
the
Yeah.
pre-workout to go and do these things.
What do you feel about it? I mean,
Yeah.
there are some, I take, mono, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. Yeah, I do, keratin. I take that after my workout. Now, the research I've done on it, it's really good for your mental also. I do everything for my brain because I feel constantly losing it, but, trying to get control of it. So I do that after my workout. I do like it. And they say 5, no, it's supposed to be 10. You want to do at least 10. But I think for athletes, that's probably more useful to do. Because I don't work with athletes, I work with, normal everyday people like myself. So, yeah.
I was
But
just wondering if it really did like help once you're done with a workout.
So you have to look at what you're getting in, what's in it, right? So what's the recovery process? So the whole thing is, how do I recover? The whole thing is, how do I make gains as quickly as possible, right? And that's a recovery process. So what's the number one way to recover? Number one way to recover would be sleep. Sleep. That's the number one way, right? We don't have time. I'm working out clearly in the morning. I might have to go to work, or kids have to go to school. Even afterwards, we don't have that time. So how do I make myself recover quicker? That's where those things were sold. Okay, so they're sold because somebody's going to make a lot of money on it. I mean, they're a $1 trillion industry that have come out. Now, creatine is totally different. Creatine is something that they've actually found, and I've done, like I said, I've been doing research on dementia and things of that nature. They're finding that studies of people who take 20 grams a day who have dementia are starting to reverse their dementia. Okay, now it's early studies, but it's promising studies. Now, this is naturally in the body, creatine is naturally made. But we don't make enough of it because of what goes on today. We don't eat enough meat, real meat. Most of it's hormones and all that crap put in it. It's not real grass-fed, grass-finished, natural beef, okay? So those kind of things also affect it. But the whole reason behind that is because of, do I get a better pump? So before work, do I get a better pump? How do I recover afterwards? If the case is, hey, I want a better pump, tell them to drink black coffee. Okay, because that's what it is, it's caffeine. So they're trying to do nitric oxide. How do I increase my nitric oxide? You don't need to do it through a pre-workout, okay? Because there's a lot of other chemicals in there, and that's what people don't understand. How do you make the flavor better? Right? So if I'm adding flavor to it, because it's not going to taste good. We all remember the original Gator. Who remembers the original Gator?
Yeah.
Do you know how bad it tasted? The original. I'm talking about the stuff right out of Florida. That was the worst tasting stuff in the world. Okay?
No,
But it
it
worked.
was. Yeah.
Okay, Karen.
I understand, because that's what I heard.
But those things were meant for one reason. They were meant the right way, but what happened? People aren't buying it because of the taste. So what do? I add crap into it, fillers, make it taste better, take away what it really was meant for, and then we say, hey, my kid, yeah, he drinks Gatorade. That's like cool. That's all it is. It's not real Gatorade. It's not really gonna do the things you want. If you really wanna hydrate yourself, the number one way to hydrate yourself is to eat food. It's not water, because water has no hydrational value. Okay, I know they tell you that, but it's not a hydrational thing. Because there's nothing there to bind it into to make sure it's in there. So grapes, watermelon, fruit is the number one way. If I want to go with water, I have to put a pinch of sea salt in there to actually get the electrolytes that I need. You do that, you'll save yourself millions of dollars in Gatorade, Powerade,
And baking
you'll put
soda.
them out of, you'll
Sea
put
salt
them
and a little bit of baking
Correct.
soda into your water.
Baking soda and sea salt. Pink salt, pink salt,
Himalayan's okay.
Himalayan,
That's the natural. Never
So-
table salt. Table salt is
No.
bleached. So
right.
do not use table. Do not use table
In your
salt.
water, we're talking in your water.
In your water.
So,
Pinch.
Yeah.
right, just a pinch,
Mhm.
baking soda, pinch, sea
Mhm.
salt, or pink
That's
salt.
okay.
Correct, there was another question back here.
The Yasso bar,
Yeah,
that's what you use for substitute ice cream.
yeah, it's actually made with Greek yogurt, not
Did you
that.
see the look on her
I
face?
know.
Like,
It
substitute
is.
ice cream. She's
Let
like,
me tell
oh,
you
yeah.
something, it is, I had one, because I was a little more emotional yesterday. Now, my emotions don't connect to food at all, right? Like, if I'm stressed, food does not relieve anything for me. I actually love to eat healthy because that makes me feel better. But sometimes, you know, I do have a sweet tooth, I really do. Maybe a carb tooth, whatever, I don't know if it exists, but, so, and kind of a bit of
Starch
alcohol
tooth,
too.
you gotta,
Okay.
and
I drink a little bit over the weekends also, right? So, but the Yasso tastes exactly like an ice cream. So last one I had a coffee with chocolate chips in it. And there's a mint with chocolate chip, there's a sea salt and caramel, I don't like that one. I don't like sweet, yeah, that's not my favorite. But, and I found the unicorn, which was peanut butter. Yeah, I go Edmonds, by the way, and I say it wrong, I know it's Edmonds, or how do you say it?
Good question.
It's amazing.
Yes,
Mhm.
Y-A-S.
Yasso.
Y-A-S-S.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good. Mm-hmm.
Got one last question, we need to wrap this up.
Well, I was just gonna say, my doctor told me to, add sodium every time I'm drinking. And one of the things I noticed is it doesn't go right through me like it used, like, you know, if you're just like loading up on water and you're always going to the bathroom. I don't have that problem when I'm.
Well, because salt retains, right? So anything high salt, you're retaining fluid. So when you're putting a little bit of salt in there, it's actually helping your body to be able to keep that water in, actually hydrate you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You're just flushing your kidneys.
But I had a question about what you were saying about eating a lot. And when way back when I was a gym rat, I ate constantly, and I hated it because I was always hungry. So like, I always feel like I don't want to be too active because I don't want to ever be like that, where like I have to like plan, make sure I have the healthy snacks and like always have food on me because of how my body like constantly needing.
It's your connection to it. Do you understand? It's not that you were constantly hungry or, I love that I'm always hungry. I love to eat. I think about food all the time. But there's a deeper connection for you in your head that relationship, it's something deeper than that.
Yeah.
whether you were working out for whatever reason, whether you hated working out, there's a deeper connection of what you're thinking and you're saying to the reality of what it is, right? I mean, and honestly, because I have a degree in food chemistry and anatomy, but also psychology or weight loss and weight management. So I would love to talk to you and see what it is. But you see, people are like, I'm so sick of thinking of food and I hate prepping. I don't prep anything. Honestly, I don't. My prep is grocery shopping. That is my prep. If I don't grocery shop, I'm in trouble. And there's only two of us. I go Costco shopping. I should work for Costco. Costco should pay me the amount that I talk about Costco, right? But I go buy food, and I love, when I eat breakfast, I'm like, what am I having for lunch? When I eat lunch, I'm like, what am I going to do for dinner? You know, I just think about it. And because every time I eat, I feel amazing. Because most of my food is healthy. Like if I don't eat right, I'm crashing. Like my energy's low, I get a headache, and then everybody asks me, did you eat? I'm like, it's a little late. As soon as I eat protein and I eat, it looks like I'm full of energy. And I'm full of energy all the time. I'm a bit annoying, honestly. So from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, I am.
There was another question somewhere.
Right there.
Well, I was just gonna ask, if you have any insight to pre and probiotics.
Oh, pre and pro. There's pre and pro. I actually have both. Okay, it comes in a little container. I put it in my coffee in the morning. So everybody knows about probiotics, but your prebiotics are actually a little bit more important. Yeah, it comes in, mine's in a powder. So there's some in a pill. I'm horrible at taking pills. I'm gonna still try. You know, I have a pill box of supplements that I take. Very few, because that pill box prevents me from the other pill box that I don't want to have. The vitamin D3 plus K2, that's the most important thing you can take. I take a vitamin E. I did start a Q10, but I didn't want to stop that one. And then B12. The B12s are always amazing for me. I take a calcium. Calcium is really important because I'm at an age where, even though I work out, I just don't want to have any bone issues. But the prebiotic, everybody knows about the prebiotic, right? The probiotic, I should say, but there's a prebiotic. It comes in a little container. I'll post it or send it to you. It's a really good kind. There's a company that makes it it's family owned, so you're not getting a bunch of crap.
I'm gonna wrap this up. It's 1:15. We promised we'd be here an hour. So, yeah, right. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If you have some more questions, we're gonna hang out. So, again, thanks to Dave, thanks to Nadia, thanks for everything, and thank you for being here. Take care.
Thank you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.